Why are we so ashamed of our scars? We live in a world obsessed with perfection. We filter our faces. We edit our lives. We hide our cracks. We think that if something is broken, it is worthless. But have you ever considered that a flawless thing has no history, and that perhaps true beauty does not lie in perfection, but in the story of survival? This was the prison built by a gifted potter named Elara. Her studio was a reflection of her soul. It was sterile, cold, and meticulously clean. On her shelves stood rows of technically perfect vases, each one a testament to her skill. But her floor told a different story. It was covered in a mosaic of broken shards. These were her failures. The moment a pot emerged from the kiln with a tiny crack, an uneven glaze, or the slightest imperfection, a cold fury would seize her. She would smash it without a second thought. The sound of shattering ceramic was a constant echo in her silent workshop. This act was not just about the pottery. It was about her. Elara was terrified of making a mistake. She carried a deep-seated belief that if she was not perfect, she was unlovable. She hid her own emotional wounds, her own fractures from the past, behind a cold, flawless exterior. She believed that to be seen was to be judged, and to be judged was to be found wanting. Each broken pot was a confirmation of her deepest fear, that she herself was fundamentally broken. One afternoon, the breaking point came. She had worked for weeks on a magnificent blue bowl, the color of a deep twilight sky. It was meant to be her masterpiece, the culmination of all her efforts. She opened the kiln with trembling hands. Her heart pounded. The bowl was almost perfect, almost. But near the rim, a tiny hairline fracture had formed, like a single tear on a perfect face. A wave of nausea and rage washed over her. With a cry that was more a sob than a shout, she lifted the bowl high and brought it crashing down onto the stone floor. It shattered into a dozen pieces. As the ringing silence returned, Elara sank to her knees amidst the ruins. She wasn't just looking at a broken bowl. She was looking at a reflection of herself. Desperate, she knew she could not continue this way. The cycle of creation and destruction was destroying her. She had heard whispers of an old master who lived deep in the mountains, a man named Kintsugi, who was said to see the soul of objects. Gathering the largest pieces of her shattered masterpiece, she wrapped them in a cloth and began her journey. After a long walk through ancient forests, she found his home. It was not a grand temple, but a humble wooden hut, weathered by time and nestled amongst the trees. The air around it felt calm, ancient. She found Master Kintsugi sitting on his porch, his hands stained with what looked like gold dust. The hut was filled with objects, old tea bowls, worn wooden tools, and mended ceramics. Nothing was perfect. Everything was old, used, and somehow deeply comforting. Each item felt like it had a story to tell. Elara approached him, her heart heavy with shame. She knelt and unwrapped the cloth, revealing the fragments of her blue bowl. Her voice cracked as she spoke. "Master, I have failed. It is broken. It is trash." Kintsugi did not look at her with pity or disappointment. Instead, he looked at the shards with a surprising tenderness, as if they were precious jewels. He picked up a piece, his calloused fingers tracing the sharp, broken edge. He looked up at her, his eyes filled with a gentle wisdom. "It is not trash, Elara," he said softly. "It is just, ready for its next chapter." He invited her inside and began a quiet, deliberate ritual. He did not try to hide the cracks. Instead, he seemed to revere them. He carefully cleaned each broken piece. Then, From a small wooden box, he took out a dark lacquer and a small pouch of shimmering gold dust. He meticulously mixed them together, creating a paste that glowed with an inner light. With a fine-tipped brush, he began to join the pieces. He painted the golden lacquer along every single fracture line. He wasn't hiding the break. He was highlighting it. He was celebrating it. As he worked, he began to speak. In my tradition, he explained, his voice as calm as a still lake. We do not hide the break. We highlight it. We celebrate it with gold. We call this Kintsugi, the art of golden repair. He paused, fitting two pieces together, a line of brilliant gold, now sealing the join. Why do we do this? Because the break is part of its history. It is evidence that it survived something that should have destroyed it. The break tells a story of resilience. The gold honors that story. He set the partially mended bowl down and looked directly into Ilya's eyes. His gaze was kind, but pierced through her defenses. You are like this bowl, Elara. You think your flaws make you ugly. You think your mistakes make you worthless. But your scars, the times you were broken, the times you failed, the moments you felt you couldn't go on, those are not reasons for shame. They are your gold. He gestured to the bowl, its new golden veins beginning to form a beautiful network. A perfect vase is just a vase. It is beautiful, yes, but it has no story. It has never faced adversity, but a broken and mended vase. A mended vase has a soul. It has a history of survival. It is more beautiful for having been broken. At that moment, something shifted within Elara. It was like a bolt of lightning, a sudden, blinding flash of understanding. Kenji handed her the finished bowl. She held it in her hands. The deep blue ceramic was now laced with intricate veins of pure gold. The light caught the golden lines, making them shine. It was breathtaking. It was infinitely more beautiful, more profound, and more alive than the original, flawless bowl ever could have been. The gold did not hide the damage. It transformed it into a feature of stunning beauty. In that instant, Elara saw her whole life with new eyes. She saw the cracks in her own heart, the failures she had tried to smash and forget, the wounds she had hidden away in shame. She realized she had been trying to erase her own history. She had been trying to present a perfect, unbroken self to the world, terrified that her true, fractured self was unlovable. She understood now. Being broken is not the end. It is not a failure. It is an opportunity. It is a chance to be put back together, not as you were before, but as something stronger, more resilient, and uniquely beautiful. Tears streamed down her face, but, for the first time in a long time, they were not tears of shame. They were tears of release. We do not end our story in the master's hut. We end it back in Ilara's studio. The room is different now. It is warmer, a little messier, filled with a sense of gentle creation rather than frantic perfectionism. Sunlight streams through the window, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. As she moves a newly fired vase to a shelf, her hand slips. The vase falls to the floor. There is a sharp crack. A visible fracture now runs down its side. The old Elara would have flown into a rage. The old Elara would have seen only failure. But this is a new Elara. She does not scream. She does not smash it. Instead, she kneels down and picks up the two pieces gently. She looks at the crack, not with anger, but with a quiet curiosity. A small, genuine smile touches her lips. She places the pieces on her workbench and reaches for her own kit, her own lacquer, her own gold dust. She is no longer just a maker of perfect things. She has become a mender of broken souls, starting with her own. The moral of this story, based on the philosophy of Wabi Sabi and Kintsugi, is that there is profound beauty in imperfection and impermanence. We should not hide our scars or failures, for they are the golden seams that create our unique history, making us stronger and more valuable than if we had never been broken at all.